Hello and welcome to this week's Nugget of the Week. And today we are going to be talking about Vlad Cat's secret to success, the top 10 team leader challenges and how to overcome them. And today we have as a very special guest, Vlad Katz with Keller Williams Legacy team leader, and he has just been completely crushing it. #2 in net recruits in all of Keller Williams. And so we're so glad to have him today to share how he's streamlining his business, his system, so that he can grow his business and help a lot of team leaders across the country. So good morning, Vlad. How are you?
I'm doing great, Christine. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here and share, some of the tools and some of the strategies that I've been using here in the team leader role in Pikesville.
Yeah, and you and I started talking a number of months back as I came to you and said, "Hey, take a look at this. See what Seize the Market can do for team leaders. What do you think?" And of course, we've been geeking out since a number of years back. So, it was kind of right up our alley.
Yeah.
And you started really digging in and then helping us tweak it out so that it's really, really friendly for team leaders and sharing your perspective and what would make you even more successful. So, and today we're going to allow you to share, what's come of that. What does that look like now? I'm Christine Lee, your host and head geek of Seize the Market, and we're going to dive right in. Team Leader Challenge #1. There's all too many systems. So, Vlad, tell me about what that world looks like, some of the pains before Seize the Market.
Well, yeah, Christine, this was probably one of my first challenges when I came into the team leader role a little bit less than 2 years ago. Coming from a mega agent background, the first thing I started looking for, the systems that could help make myself as well as our executive leadership team more efficient and effective. We know the models for recruiting great agents, for lack of a better term. Keller Williams Realty International has done a tremendous job in showing us how to get it done, and what I started looking at basically the systems to make myself more efficient. And what I realized is that, just like I realized a few years ago in the mega agent world, is that there are just way too many systems. Systems do exist. There's a way to do mass email. There's a way to speed dial. There's a way to do SMS, if you will. And yet they were all in different systems. I have to have numerous subscriptions like Mojo and Easy Texting and Excel spreadsheets that I used to use. And when you and I quickly realized that it's possible for all of those systems to be blended into one and make my role a lot more effective and efficient.
Yeah, and I mean, you were on the verge of just wanting to almost create your own thing just because you're so frustrated with the whole process, right?
Well, yeah, I actually reached out to my tech guy who's been working on my real estate team's technology for the last 5 years, and asked them to kind of evaluate what we have cooking and put something together. And then, yeah, probably about 30 days later, you and I started talking randomly, and here we are now.
Yep, and I remember that conversation pretty well, because after we did a brief, kind of conversation on what all it had, you're like, "Hey, when can you come up?" I was like, let's set a date," and then plop goes Weasel, and we kind of started knocking it out. So, all right, so that's
Yeah.
kind of a problem for most people, and so going on to Team Leader Challenge #2, we have ineffective executive team communication. And so tell me about what that looks like in your role.
Well, so one of the things that I once again quickly discovered, and just like I'm gonna probably will sound like a broken record, just like I discovered years ago in the mega agent world, is that uh, e- even though the executive leadership team can always pop by each other's office and have a quick conversation, once the market center grew from 100 associates, 200 associates, and now well over 250 and closer to 300, we started having less effective communication about our associates. So, for example, my director of agent services will run into my office and tell me, "Hey, it's so-and-so's birthday. Please give her a call," or "So-and-so just had their first transaction," or so-and-so is having problems with whatever. And I used to kind of take notes and say, all right, I'm going to call Margie, okay, or I'm going to call Aaron, etc. And what I quickly discovered is that that was pretty ineffective because I consistently started, forgetting, forgetting to follow up with associates within the office. And so what we do now is, members of the executive leadership team just simply go into the system, put in a note, such and such is happening to so and so, and then put in a task for me to call them and to congratulate them or just to reach out. And I do the same thing for them if I notice something that needs to be done for an associate. That way we keep a record of what we're doing for associates, and we no longer have to actually run into each other's office and say, hey, do this.
And so what Vlad is referring to is and sees the market when you have add a task, you can assign it to any team member. So again, saving that trip of got a minute or just want you to know. And not only that, your associate can make it a priority task, so it can kind of scream at you further if they so wish to do so, so that it can get your attention. Um,
Very true. Yes, there is an urgent feature on there.
Yep. So the whole team can be in one system, assign tasks to each other, and even move their tasks over to another person if needed. So it's really centralizing that team level communication. And like you said, as a market center grows, it becomes even more painful to kind of corral all those different tasks together. And this helps you avoid that kind of that knot in the bottom of your stomach that comes about when you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do this. So minimizing that has certainly removed some pain in your life. All right, so
Absolutely.
number 3, out of date agent production data. So tell me about that challenge and what it looks like now.
Oh, this is probably one of my favorite features of Seize the Market, the leadership version. Uh, one of the things that we do is we as team leaders, we constantly track the production data of other individuals. For example, we want to know who the cappers are in our territory, and every month the capper population changes. Yeah, it may not change 100%, and yet there's individuals who are now cappers who weren't a month earlier, and those who were cappers and maybe they've had the last few months have been pretty tough for them, and they are no longer cappers. So one of the things that you've been able to accomplish is kind of systematize and automate the agent production data, because every month I can just upload a new list from Broker Metrics, and Seize the Market automatically populates their production data, their percent change, right? So that I actually know for the rising stars or those who are tanking fast, as well as the actual production change. And that helps me identify who the potential prospects are that may not have been prospects before.
Very cool. And I get that a lot. People ask me, hey, does the rest of my data stay the same? And so I want to highlight that even if, there's somebody you've been working on for, 6 months and you have all these notes and you re-import the broker metrics data, everything else is exactly the same. It doesn't touch all your notes. It's still that one person. It actually detects that as, an existing record, so it doesn't duplicate or create a new record. So all of that is preserved. So you can just keep on going about your follow up and about your day, and there's no mix up in data. So all right, fantastic. So number 4, organizing your megas, cappers, and half cappers. There's a lot of challenges with team leaders, just having those in all different, kind of ways. Sometimes even in different just written pieces of paper, and that is a lot really hard to update. So what was that for you before, and what does that look like now?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was similar to probably what all of the current listeners are having is, it's, who is what, and how to tag them. And within Seize the Market, it's very simple to apply a tag uh, to the individual there, and then I'm sure we're going to be talking down the road about auto dialer, and then create customized dialing lists based on the tags that we have, thus making it a lot more efficient to actually communicate with individuals.
All right, very cool, very cool. Yeah, so what was a challenge before as far as organizing it? You can, whether it's tagging them or searching by them within the system, you're able to literally just, because all the broker metrics data is imported in there, you can literally just search by, hey, I want, 5 million to the 5 million on up or 10 million and up, and just be able to pull it without literally two clicks of a button. So that's really streamlined
Yeah.
that process. Challenge number 5, agent referral management. That this is a huge topic because there's, even people having a single solution just for the referral part. And some people have gone to the level of getting so great at getting referrals from their agents that that's their whole lead gen. So this is a big deal. So what's this looked like for you before, and what does it look like now?
And you're absolutely right. I mean, what I learned really quickly is that the highest conversion rate on potential recruits is from agent referrals. And you know, you asked me what did it look like before Seize the Market. It looked like random emails from agents, random uh, ticket notes from agents, and random conversations with agents who were all submitting referrals to myself, the executive leadership team. And then, of course, we have to follow up with them from all different sources. And you're right, like there are already single source, or excuse me, there are already products that have this built in, and yet this integrates the entire CRM with all the other features. So what we have now is a landing page for our associates to go in and submit their referrals to us. It automatically goes to our cell phones. It automatically goes into our emails, and then we make the phone call straight from the system. So the system then logs in the phone call. We put in notes, and then we can share those notes with our associates. It has streamlined it dramatically to the point where our associates are loving it. They know where to go. We created, like I said, a separate landing page with a direct URL.
And so, and kind of a improvement from what some people are used to is, you don't have to log in. You can just go in, and the associate can just access it directly. And there's also additional lead routing for, your referrals. And so, whatever executive management team that you want notified can get email and or text. And so that's automatic. And you can even apply automatic email responders or action plans just by somebody getting submitted. So a lot of automation has been added to the referral management aspect of the business.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing up that last portion, because that has been uh, a big value add for us as well.
Very cool. All right. Challenge number 6, automated follow-up for lead and retention. So what's it been like before? What does it look like now?
Well, before it was a lot of kind of trial and error. It was using multiple systems, um, attempt to consistently follow up with individuals, and then also to not being able to create a certain type of email that I would want. It's kind of being, for lack of a better term, pigeonholed into one particular software. Like I use Top Producer, I use
And so there's a lot of different systems that you had to piece together in order to make one thing happen. And one thing I think you've really enjoyed is the fact that in the follow-up emails, because you can create different email templates and you can create your own action plans, you've been able to pull in that production data into the email so you can have relevant conversation with the agents and make it much more meaningful. Whereas before, the chances of a team leader going and looking at production data to incorporate into the conversation of an email when you have hundreds to do was almost slim to none. And now that we've literally made that a merge field, a short code in the email, it just does it automatically. And I know that's been really effective for you.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The merge fields have been great, as well as I have to add the user behavior. So email link tracking has been a wonder as well. So I I, I am a true believer in telling everybody that has a real estate license about the value that Keller Williams Realty and Keller Williams Legacy can bring. And I often send out information about either Keller Williams Legacy or about Keller Williams Realty. And I often send out value added emails. So like, buyer agent tools, seller agent tools, etc. And I strategically place uh, links either to our website or to attachments in those emails. And it's really cool because I can go in to seize the market and see who actually clicked on the email. I'm sorry, who clicked on the link. And then, so if I send 500 emails, I see 20, 30 people who actually clicked on the link. I can now follow up with them a lot more purposefully rather
Yep.
than calling the entire 500 people and wondering whether they opened it or not, whether they read it or not, etc.
And you can also see exactly if you have multiple links on the page, what link was clicked on. If it was the one about, a specific training, or maybe it was a different call to action on the email that was about the calendar. You can see what kind of tickled their brain and the specific information that they were looking for. Um,
Absolutely. I mean, the conversion on those calls have been increased dramatically because they're now much more warmer, right? It's one thing to talk to somebody who didn't get the email about the training event that's coming up, or we don't know whether they got them. It's another thing called and say, hey, Christine, just out of curiosity, did you get my email? Knowing that they already looked at your training event.
hmm and there's two different ways you can access this information. One is there's a setting in the system where you can be notified the second, as soon as they click on the link, and you can send it to an email that either goes out to your leadership team or maybe just you. The choice is yours. And then there is actually a separate report altogether that you can pull up for everybody for all your email click tracking. So again, just part of that automation and reporting in Seize the Market. Challenge number 7, underestimating SMS. So share a little bit about what you did before, what you love about SMS, and kind of how Seize the Market has helped you, improve upon your previous system.
Yeah, that's a great point, Christine. And listen, we know that in today's day and age, uh, SMS is one of the more effective uh, communication tools. It's much more effective than email. It's sometimes in our world, it's even more effective than voice to voice. And what I did prior is I essentially had the Google Voice because my iPhone there was just too much to text on an iPhone, so I went to a desktop application which was Google Voice. And the challenge there, Christine, was that I would write something in Google Voice, but then I would have to either copy and paste it into the system, whatever system that I was using, just to say a note like, hey, I texted John about training. Um, and yeah, I mean, you can clearly see the ineffectiveness there, right, or inefficiency. And with Seize the Market, I can text directly from the system. I can apply uh, templates that either have production or just their first name. So if I'm saying, hey, hello, how are you? I'd like to invite you to a training event. It actually, like, I can create that template and send it without typing it, 15 different times if I'm inviting 15 different people. So that has helped me tremendously because it's just much simpler. And when they reply to me, I get a notification that they replied and it's already saved in the system. So if my director of agent services wants to know what John said, she can just log into the system and check it out.
All right, very, very cool. And challenge number 8 is ineffective email strategy and campaigns. What were some of the pains from before, and how has it been solved by Seize the Market?
Well, Christine, I mean, this is a really quick one. I think that we sort of touched upon it a few minutes earlier. Um, sending out emails without tracking and having email campaigns set up like an 8x8 or a 33 touch without knowing of the user behavior, whether they're reading it or not, was not really effective. Today with Seize the Market, I'm able to log in and see who is reading what and who's clicking on what. And that has made the conversations, a lot more purposeful, both inside and outside the market.
Very cool. All right. Challenge number 9, lack of integration between lead sources. Yuck. I have a lot of conversations about this. So what for you, and I'm sure a lot of team leaders out there right now can kind of feel this pain. What did it look like for you before, and what does it look like now?
Well, before it looked like, if somebody submitted their information request on one of our online sources, it would come into my email. If somebody submitted from a different one, it would come into my email. If an agent submitted a referral for a Woohoo form that I created, it would also come into my email. So as you can imagine, before too long, I started having a bunch of different lead sources and a bunch of different emails. And a team leader's email, we get hundreds of emails a day. That's just not as effective. Today, with Seize the Market, all of the leads are coming in through one system. I get a notification. If a lead comes off a website, it goes from the website directly to a STM directly onto my phone, and I'm able to call them right away. And there's a lead routing, just like you said 2 minutes ago as well. So it's just helped tremendously.
Very good. And then also what I see is because there hasn't been an all-in-one solution, I've seen other team leaders have a separate service for just the website that, captures some leads. And again, a different CRM. And so whether you are paying for another service or not, or created your own forms, this is just a kind of a universal challenge that a lot of people suffer from. So challenge number 10, snail dialing. So that
Oh
means, and
yeah.
what we mean by that. What is snail dialing? And tell us how you do things when it comes to, powering through your sessions.
Well, yeah. So, uh, yeah, I remember my first couple of weeks as a team leader in October of 2014. I attempted to make all the calls directly from my cell phone, and I realized that whether it's a referral or whether it's a cold call or anywhere in between, I was going to make a bunch of dials during the day. And one of the things about me, Christine, is that I attempt to do things very, very quickly, and so I dial very, very quickly. And when you dial very, very quickly, you tend to have a lot of dialing mistakes. So I was calling the wrong people. I realized midway through the dial that I was dialing the wrong number, and so of course that once again ineffective and inefficient. So I actually went to Mojo right after that, and Mojo is a great dialer. I used it as a mega agent. However, it was not integrated with all the other systems. And now with your dialer, in Seize the Market that is connected to the CRM, my lead generation and lead follow-up efficiency just went through the roof because I'm able to log in and either do a single line dialer or a 6-line dialer, right? To plow through hundreds of numbers if needed. And then my team has access to it as well because a lot of them are making phone calls each and every day. So that has helped with not only increasing their efficiency, but also providing transparency within the system because I can see who they called, how much time they spent on the dialer, and how many contacts they made.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things is, especially in the team leader role, is the phone follow up. Although a lot of team leaders may not be super tech savvy, and might not be used to a dialer. Here's one thing for certain: everybody has phone follow ups, and there's room in, if you're snail dialing, to allow technology to just go through those follow ups. Just one line at a time, nothing scary. But one line at a time, and enable you to skip all that manual, area code, dot, 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 and gosh, that's so frustrating to me, to have to do that, every single time you want to do a task. So, and to expand on, the dialer, what all can you do through the dialer that you haven't been able to do before?
I'm able to create customized lists specifically for the dialer. Able to put the notes in the dialer. I'm sure there's a lot more features that I may not even be tapping into it yet.
Yeah, and what Vlad means by that is he creates a dialer list that's for his mega agents, and so when it's time, his time block for his mega agents, he'll just plow through that, and the list that, for people he hasn't spoken to yet, and then he'll move those to another category once he does touch base, and now they're on a permanent follow up, and they show up as a phone task, and then that can go for
Mm-hmm.
your productivity coach or your assistant team leader. for that role. If you want them to do the half or quarter cappers, those lists can be created in the dialer. So, and everybody can be using the dialer at the same time, and not step on anybody's toes. So it is definitely designed for a team setting. Um,
Agreed.
and then a couple other things that can be done through the dialer that is, very unique to us is that you can, send text messages through the dialer. So if you're calling and talking to somebody and it's a really warm call, or you want to send them a quick text with some information, you can do it straight from the dialer, including using some of your, pre-made templates so that you don't have to type it all the time. And also you're like, ooh, wait, this person was on a colder list. I want to, they're ready to move in the next month. So you can put them on a action plan that puts them on a
Hmm.
weekly phone call follow-up straight from the dialer without having to leave anything and not having to remember to apply that action plan later. It's all straight from, while you're right in the moment. Um,
Absolutely, yeah. I've used both of those.
Very cool, very cool. When it comes to the top 10 challenges that most team leaders face, what Seize the Market has done is put all of the things that you guys do in one under one roof. And Vlad has gone through everything from recruiting, retention, referral management, production data, centralized, executive team communication, task management, and having all this automation with email blasts, SMS, dialer, drips, reporting, website, lead capture, all of that has been buttoned up beautifully under one roof. And so, if you're interested, have any questions on how to streamline your business, we're here to help. And so, Vlad, any last words to folks who are looking for that system, that have a big office or even a growing office, that needs to streamline their business? If they're like, oh, what is, seize the market? What would you say, you would recommend for them to do?
Well, the very first thing that I would tell them to do is, set up a demo with either you or one of your team members so they can figure out whether whether this is a product for them. When it comes to a system or a tool for lead generation, lead follow up, essentially like a CRM which serves for me as the grand central station of everything that's happening within and outside of the market center. I have not seen a better one as of yet, and I know that you keep improving it just in the few months that we've been working together. You consistently are rolling out new features or things that are getting or things that can make our lives even easier. So your technology knowledge is very, very high, and your customer service so far has been unparalleled. So I want to thank you, and whoever is interested. I think whoever is interested in improving the efficiency and effectiveness of themselves and their executive leadership team within their market center, I think the next logical step is to figure out whether this is for them and to test it out.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Vlad, for your time and sharing how you overcome the top 10 team leader challenges and providing solutions for it. So, have a great day and appreciate you very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Christine.
All right, bye bye.